Hello and welcome to another weekly reference lap for the Rookie Mazda series. I'm DJ Alessandrini and we're going to go over some tips and tricks on how to set a fast lap on Summit Point and just some overall Miata tips in general. Alright, so first off, hi, welcome to the channel. If you want to see more tutorials and such, subscribe, hit the bell, you'll be notified when the next video comes up. And if you have any questions throughout the video, just leave them in the comments. I get to every single question in the comments, no matter how silly or how off topic, anything like that. All right, so we're gonna dive into it. Right now, this is the fast lap. It's just playing in the background. I have moved the brake and pedal stuff up here, even though I don't think it's a good idea to show that. And the reason of that is you're not going to be setting laps aiming to press the brakes exactly this hard in this particular corner. The better way to be using the brakes is to just use them to change the yaw of the car, however much that takes. When you're using the brakes to turn, you aren't really focused on exactly how much brake you're using. You're using the amount of brake that's needed to turn the car. Okay, so front straight, driving a straight line. But going into turn one, we want to brake at this 3 cone here. So you'll see 1, 2, 3, and it's right where this pavement ends is where that cone's going to be. Okay, hold on. All right. VR started messing up, did some weird stuff to the Streamlabs. Anyways, okay, 3 cone right here, and when we brake, we just want to just slow the car down and make sure you're not drifting toward the apex. I see a lot of drivers under hard braking, they'll just kind of start turning into the turn, and basically they'll be like in the middle of the track when they finally go to turn into the corner, and there's essentially making the corner a lot tighter than it needs to be. So you want to stay on the outside of the track until it's time to turn in. Turn in is about, let's see if we can skip back. Turn in is about just after where this service road comes in. You'll be close to the curb, and you're going to take a tight line through here. You're going to only track out to about the middle of the track. And I've tried tracking all the way out, and then you have a little bit more speed coming down the straightaway. You never make up the time than if you just carve distance and be tight here. All the way tight is too slow. You lose the time on the straightaway. But if you hold the momentum to come out into the middle of the track, that seems to be the sweet spot of cutting distance and having enough momentum down the straightaway where you don't lose all that time you gain by cutting distance. Turn 3, extremely tricky. I bet this corner looks different every single time I do it, but the things I'm focusing on is getting the front to bite on turn in. You really want to just get the front to come in. You can hit the curbing. The car doesn't really seem to mind about that. The important thing here is when you get to corner exit on 3, that you don't have any steering in the car when and if you get to the dirt. And you should touch the dirt just a little bit. That's not an off track right there if you're just barely touching the dirt. If you're not almost touching the dirt or touching the dirt, then you went too slow. So try to go, just hold a little bit more apex speed next time through. Now that turn 3 is out of the way, we're diving into turn 4. And turn 4 is on cold tires. You're going to have to go like half throttle through this. If you try to do it flat, the rear end's going to come around. You don't have any space to fix it, and it's going to result in some bad news. And actually in this lap, I kind of overshot the braking zone just a tiny bit. I should have broke just a tad earlier, and I'll explain why in a second. But you don't need to get the car all the way back to the right. The inside of the track into 5, which is right here, you see this different color pavement right there. It's really on camber, and you can put the car in there, and it sticks really well, and you can get into power nice and easy. And yeah, that's basically where you want to be. Now, the reason I say I overshot this a little bit is because I'm waiting to get in throttle, and I would want to be in throttle just a tad sooner than that. You'll see down in the I lost basically like a half a tenth there. I don't think we're going to see it in the bottom left, but I lost a half a tenth there just by just coming in a little too hot. I tried to do better than this lap, fixing that small mistake, and it was very tough, guys. This is a surprisingly technical track, and it happens to be one of my favorites. As you know, when I was beginning driving the Mazda, this was the track that seemed most like a racetrack. Most of the rookie tracks, besides like Laguna Seca, Summit Point, and the Roval, those seem like kind of like parts of racetracks. They don't seem like big racetracks. I guess Okayama could fit in the big racetrack thing too, but there's 12 weeks in the rookie season, and you only get to race on like full racetracks 4 of the times, and this is one of the times. So, sorry, a little tangent there, but yeah, I think I came in a little hot here. So maybe just brake a little sooner. And the important thing when coming into turn 4 here, we skip back a little bit, is to just have the car braking, going basically straight. The car's going to slow down the fastest when you're going straight. That means that you won't really be able to get the car back over to the right, and if you can, that means you broke too early. And getting to the right doesn't really help you because the left-hander doesn't lead onto a giant straightaway. So, that extra speed you're carrying out of there isn't going to be made up. It's better to just to hold more speed through turn 4 than get a really wide entry into turn 5. All right, turn 6. This one, I notoriously see people turn in too early for it, and then it delays their throttle. Basically, you want to turn in when the angle of this curbing is parallel to your car when you're getting on throttle. In real life, there's a little nick in the pavement over here is where you turn in. It has like a little deformity in the pavement. iRacing doesn't have that, but it does. You can kind of see it. It would be right here. That's basically where you'd want to turn in. You see how the line straightens out for a second and then goes to the right? Well, in real life, the pavement kind of sticks out a little bit right here. That's the turn-in spot. So basically you want your car loaded, set, and starting to pivot into the corner right where that straight line is. Let's see if we can just look at it. You see how the white line's curved, and then it straightens out for a split second, and then the moment it starts to curve back to the right, that's basically where your left tire is going to be flicking into the corner. Okay. I just leave it in second there. I don't think it's worth going to third. And then you let the momentum of the car carry it to the left here. And you want a nice straight exit. Sorry, I skipped back too far. So you want a nice straight exit out of this right-hander right here, because you want to open up this as much as possible. Now, if you're able to, leaving this corner, drive into the dirt before you turn left here, then you're going too slow. Basically, you should barely be able to keep the car to the right before you have to turn back to the left for the next turn. On the V6 tire model, you could clip the grass a little bit. It'll help the car turn. On the V7 tire model, which is when this video was made, it makes the car a little loose. So kind of stay off the grass right here. But you're going to want to open up turn 8 here as much as possible. So you want to be as far to the left as possible when you turn into this. And the reason for that is you want to create the biggest radius possible when you're turning into this turn, because it goes on to a long straightaway, and generally the longer the straightaway is, the more important your exit speed is going to be. The larger radius you have, the more speed you're going to have carrying out of the corner. All right. This is also a going to kill you zone on the track. If you drop tires off to the left over here, you generally are going to hook the car and go over and hit this wall. So work up to this. Maybe give yourself a little safety in the race just so you don't go off and get dead. That was basically on the limit of dead or not. So during the race, like, leave yourself tiny bit of safety margin, it's going to help you out a lot. Okay. And then the last corner, you'll see this little gravel on the left here. Basically, I start braking in the beginning of it and start just kind of twisting the car in toward the end of it. I didn't execute this corner that well. I think I turned in a tad early. That's why I'm clipping the curbing here, and that's why you see the double gas input. But the exit speed coming out was decent. You're going to use all the track. I know the curbing's right here, but this is pavement. We're going to use it, and you don't get an off track until you put more than half of the tire into the dirt over here. And then we're going to try to not run completely next to the dirt coming back onto the track. There's a big bump here. It spins up the rear tires, and you just lose a little thrust for a split second. You lose like half a mile an hour down the straightaway, and that's just free time. So if you can, we're going to try to avoid running right next to the dirt on exit here and avoid the spinning of the tires. So, all right, that was a lap of Summit Point. Again, one of my favorite tracks. It races really well. The video is only 11 minutes right now, so we're just going to go over some of the ways it's going to race. So the main straight will be the passing zone, basically. You can pass after turn 1. So we'll go to turn 1. So if you get especially if you're side by side going to turn 1, if you're on the outside, which is where I like to be on turn 1, assuming the guy leaves you room, you're now on the inside for turn 3, which is up here. So turn 3, remember this is the fast left where you barely touch the dirt. If you have the inside here, you're kind of the dictator and when you get to turn into that corner. And you'll generally win out there unless the guy on the right just runs through the dirt. But with incident points, you're only going to have so many. And then after that, it's basically over for the passing zones. You're just kind of waiting unless the guy makes a mistake and you can pounce. But ways to defend yourself down this super, super, super long straight is right when you come out of the last turn, you'll trail out just like this, and then you'll hustle the car back to the right or just stay to the left to have that outside. If you think that you're going to be side by side into the turn 1, then I would choose left. If you think that he's going to have more than half of his car in front of you, then I would want to be on the inside just because if he's more than a half a car width in front of you on the inside of you, basically he'll turn in the corner and he can just track out and kind of block your run that you would have on the outside. I don't know if the explanation of that came through, but all right. I'm going to be signing out. We're just going to watch the lap. And again, this was DJ Alessandrini. Thank you for watching again. My last video got 1,000 views. I was super ecstatic by that. I thought that would take months to happen. So thank you to everybody tuning in. I have a great time making these videos, and I love seeing your comments in the comments. And I just want to help everybody go fast and have fun in this awesome tool that has helped me so much in my driving. And watching videos like this has basically helped my development as a driver, and paying it forward is super rewarding to me. So like, subscribe, all that YouTuber jazz, but really just leave some comments, some questions, and let's have a conversation about driving in the comments. I could talk about driving all day, every day. All right, DJ signing out. I'll catch you all later.